I know we're all starved for Overwatch League content, and we have that in a way. Some codes for 1.5 maps of scrims between the Boston Uprising and Florida Mayhem have been released, so I figured I'd give a rundown of it and what I learned from it. First of all, a few things first. The scrim was played on a custom game mode designed to imitate Overwatch 2. We don't know how accurate these changes are, so take them with a grain of salt, but they seem to be fairly minimal. Another thing is that the star players for each team aren't here. The teams played on Korean servers, so Hydron, arguably Florida's best player, Adam, Punk, and Crimzo got no playtime. Striker wasn't in there either for whatever reason. The starting lineup of Florida was Someone, Onimo, Surmajed, Checkmate, Mirror, and for Boston it was Marvel, Valentine, Victoria, MCD, and Faith. But let's get into the breakdown. So Boston stopped them pretty hard. Florida did make it fairly close at times, but ultimately there were several issues pervading them. To get into the meta being shown here, it was a lot of the poke that we saw last year. Dorado saw a lot of Echo, Pharah, Soldier, and Cassidy to poke damage from afar, and make use of the lack of shields to hold them back, and the game was much more chaotic. There were multiple times where the D.Va would go and dive with the Tracer or Echo to get kills, only for the DPS on the other team to flank and get a kill or two on the supports. It was pretty entertaining to watch though, and it makes me hyped to see the final product. For the analysis, I'll go through each player and give my thoughts on the teams as a whole. For Florida, Someone is weird. He can confirm a lot of kills as D.Va, but he doesn't seem to have the coordination or mechanics to go with it. I feel he's simply much less accustomed to D.Va compared to Marvel, which makes sense as Marvel has previous experience in the league. He wasn't bad though. He had a few good dives with Checkmate, and his D.Va can be grinded out over time. I just wish we could have seen Adam. Mirror was pretty crazy, honestly. He was definitely the carry of Florida. He held Boston at the spawn doors for a full minute, just with his Pharah. Saved point A for another minute with a heroic flank, and popped off on Cassidy insanely hard. He totally shut down the Uprising on final point Gibraltar, shutting down the Uprising's attempt to flank. He was a bit quiet on Soldier and Echo, but overall, he was the real carry here. Sorry, Checkmate. Checkmate is weird, but I feel he was robbed a bit. He played pretty much only Tracer and a bit of Widow. Now, while I think he's expected to pick up the Tracer, I think the heroes he played here are primarily being filled by Hydron, so it's a bit unfortunate he wasn't there. But honestly, I was not too impressed with this Tracer. I watched his POV a lot, and he simply wasn't getting any kills or value in compositions where it seems flankers are important. Hydron is a much better Tracer, I know, but I was hoping for more from him. He got slapped around a bit by Victoria and even Valentine on it. His Widow wasn't that bad, but still not amazing. He heated up a bit in Gibraltar, where he bullied MCD, but still a disappointment in my opinion. Surmajed is a mixed bag. His mechanics were pretty on point, and he had some pop-off moments. But there were several moments where he was caught off guard or out of position by Valentine or Victoria and picked off for having to use his trance. He was also very aggressive on Gibraltar especially, and was punished for it. Not the performance I'd like to see from the squad's arguably most hyped up rookie by the management, but he did have a lot of good moments. Onimo, I feel, was about what you'd expect. He did his job and didn't do anything terrible aside from an odd rally or two, but overall, he just had a bit of a rough time. Valentine was straight up bullying him on the Mercy, and the Victoria bullied him on the Brig, but he held up and put up a solid performance by the end. I would say he was a tad over-aggressive at times too, and didn't know when to pull back. Now onto Boston. Marvel really impressed me personally. I thought he would be overrated, but he proved me wrong with tons of great performances on D.Va. He had a bunch of well-coordinated dives with Valentine where they would get 2 to 3 supports each time. He ate Checkmate makes ult once or twice, and did a fairly good job shutting down Mirror on Pharah and Echo when needed. Even his Winston fragged out a bunch. I honestly can't find much to criticize. He looked really good. Valentine was an absolute beast on the Echo, man. He got 2 to 3 kills a fighter consistently and seemed like a Majid-seeking missile. Dude was absolutely absurd on Rialto. Also worth noting was the way he coordinated with Marvel to shut down Majid and Onimo. It was a thing of a beauty. With his quieter on Gibraltar on the Sombra, he still had his moments and he definitely was forcing it by the end and was ineffective against Mirror's cast. I hope he can focus on projectile and let Striker focus on the Tracer and Sombra, as Valentine really is good at projectile. Meanwhile, Victoria also popped off. His Cassidy was orgasmic on Dorado. He carried the team on their defense with it, getting multiple kills a fight. His Tracer was easily the best in the lobbies as well. When he quieted down on Gibraltar, he was definitely fragging out on her and getting the best of Checkmate consistently. Very good player. MCD was solid too. His positioning and sound and he didn't die too much. that we got bullied hard on Gibraltar. He died first in like 3 fights in a row on the last point. It wasn't even because he played bad. Someone in Checkmate just decided they wanted him dead. Overall, definitely outperformed Sharmajed though, and the team should only get better once Crimzo is with them. Finally, Faith is cracked as always. He pumped out great heals and had clutch plays, but we know this from last season. For the overview, Florida Mayhem team is very scrappy. They take fights they shouldn't and are fairly uncoordinated. Their backline has some positioning and aggression problems despite good mechanics, and add on someone's uncomfortableness on the Diva and Checkmate's mediocre Tracer. The team was very reliant on Mirror, who did live up to that at points. Meanwhile, Boston was very decisive. The positioning was solid, and Marvel had great synergy with Valentine and Victoria to follow up on kills, both of whom have carry potential, and add in a strong backline and you have a strong team. Overall, Boston fans have a lot to be happy about. They seem very good already, and can only get stronger with Punk, Striker, and Crimzo. Meanwhile, Florida has some gaping holes, but they're very patchable. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe for more. I upload almost daily Overwatch League content, and I'm trying to hit 100 subs by Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks.